the Columbian mammoth. Now these are a close cousin to the woolly, except they are unique to North America, and they are significantly larger because everything's bigger in Texas, and that means they're significantly cooler. So, the reason they are called Columbian mammoths is actually after Christopher Columbus and not the country of Colombia here in South America. All these black dots on the map, these are confirmed discoveries of Columbian mammoth material, and as you can see, there are none in South America. The scientist that discovered these guys back in the late 1800s, he noticed that they were only in North America and said, hey, didn't some dude discover this place? And the name stuck. Before I take you guys on a trip to the Pleistocene, however, I will tell y'all about site discovery. So in 1978, we had two teenage boys, one Paul Barron and Eddie Buffkin, a little older in this picture here. They're walking along that dry creek bed that you see behind us, and they were doing as two teenage boys do best, which is possibly trespassing while looking for arrowheads and snakes. They find neither of these things and instead see what looks like the back of a human skull sticking out of the side of our creek bed. Intrigued and thinking a Native American burial and of course treasure, they do the next logical thing, which is to start digging, and they don't find that either. Instead, what they had seen was the ball joint of a massive 3 to 4 foot long femur bone. Now they're sitting there thinking, hey, this is way too big to be a cow, but they don't know what it is. So they went ahead and took it to the Strecker Museum, now known as the Mayburn Museum on Baylor campus here in Waco. And they asked the director at the time, Mr. David Lentz, sir, what did we find? Well, let's just say he was a little blasé about it when he says, congrats boys, you found a mammoth femur, have a nice day. As you can see on the map, these are very common animals to find throughout North America, so this is kind of an average Tuesday for Mr. Lentz, who is a museum director. On top of that, a paleontologist doesn't really jump for joy at just a single bone, and on top of that, the boys weren't too keen on telling him where they found it because they'd been trespassing. So when they finally fessed up and said, well, no sir, we found it on this farmer's land, and, well, there's way more out there. You gotta go check it out. That finally gets Mr. Lentz's attention, and in 1980, he comes out here with a few people from Baylor University, and he asks then landowner, Mr. Sam Jack McLaughlin, a dairy farmer, sir, can we dig on your land? Now, in a state like Texas, where up to 92% of our land is privately owned, this type of permission is king, and gladly Mr. McLaughlin says yes. Thus starting phase 1. Now in phase 1, instead of finding just a single mammoth, we end up finding 16. To make the discovery even more extraordinary, every single one was either an adult female or a juvenile. No adult males. And if you know anything about modern day proboscideans, or elephants that is, this is what we call a nursery herd. So, what makes us special here at Waco Mammoth, that little red star right there on our map, we are the only confirmed record of a nursery herd of Columbian mammoths ever found. If we have a sister site, she either has yet to be discovered or to be studied in this context. And until then, we are the only one, but I'm crossing my fingers because I think it'd be cool to have a twin someday. However, 1990 rolls around and they think they are done out here. Now, the reason you see no bones down there in the creek bed today is because they were all removed, wrapped into plaster jackets, and sent off to the Mayburn Museum for collections, safety, research, all that good stuff. And so they think that they're done, and they decide to be nice. Let's not leave a giant gaping hole in Mr. McLaughlin's land. They start taking dirt from the surrounding hills and areas to backfill the creek and make it look natural as you see today. And as they were taking dirt from the hill where our dig shelter now resides, they end up finding mammoth number 17, thus beginning phase 2. Now phase 2 is still active and ongoing. We are an active paleontological dig site, and we do have a full-time paleontologist on our staff, Dr. Lindsay Yan. She was hired through the National Park Service in 2020, and she is a wonderful human being, a force to be reckoned with. I did see her on site today, but she is not digging. I do apologize. Speaking of, though, we're what's known as an in situ fossil bed. Now, this is a fancy way of saying in situation or as they were found. So not only are these the real deal mammoth bones that y'all will see today, they are in their articulated positions in reference to one another and the environment as they died. They're better for research this way because they are safer and more stable while still in their native dirt, and on top of that we get more context or a bigger picture story about why they might have been here in the first place. Now some park history before we do get inside though. 1996, Mr. McLaughlin is so excited by this discovery on his land that he wishes to share it. He donates 5 acres of his property to the city of Waco with the stipulation that we open up some type of museum or park so that you guys, our community, could benefit from these fossils. Later on, the rest would be donated, bringing us to about 107 acres total. 2008, though, this dig shelter would be raised with funds raised by both the City of Waco and the Waco Mammoth Foundation. We are one of 8 dig shelters like this across the United States, one of 2 with the National Park Service, and the only one with air conditioning, and in the Texas summer, that is a great boon. Now, 2009, this park would be officially open to the public by the City of Waco, and finally, in 2015, after our 4th application to Congress, a very lengthy process, I might add, we finally earn our National Monument designation. We are very proud to wear that arrowhead, and we do have a full-time National Park Ranger on our staff. We actually walked just past him down on the trail there in that amphitheater. However, all the daily operations on this site, from this guided tour to the gift shop, this is run by City of Waco, and I'm a city ranger. However, my uniform is the exact same as Brandon's, so I don't blame you for thinking otherwise. Main difference, he's federal, I'm city, he gets a cool hat, I don't. Any questions before we head on inside?
Can we buy you a hat?
Unfortunately, no. I wish though. Any others? If not, I'll go ahead and get us inside our dig shelf.